All right, let's get into it. For this explainer, we're going to tear into some of cinema's absolute scariest alien creatures. We're going to see what makes them tick, and more importantly, what kind of fear they really dig into.
So what is it that really makes an alien terrifying? It's a question filmmakers have been kicking around for decades. And trust me, the answer is way more complicated than just a scary face with a bunch of fangs and claws. It really gets to the core of what we, as humans, are most afraid of.
See, we can break this all down into three big categories of alien horror, each one tapping into a different kind of dread. So let's start with the one that's baked right into our DNA, that primal, instinctual fear of being hunted.
Okay, part one, the perfect hunters. This category is all about the raw physical threat. We're talking about aliens that are just flat out better than us, faster, stronger, and literally built for the chase. They tap right into that deep-seated fear of no longer being at the top of the food chain.
You gotta start with the classic, right? The xenomorph from Alien. Its entire existence is just this unbelievably efficient and horrifying life cycle that's all about one thing: making more xenomorphs. It's a brutal, cold biological process that starts with an egg, leads to a parasite, and then, well, you know how it ends, right out of the chest.
H.R. Giger's design here is just genius. He created a creature that's the definition of adaptation. Its body changes based on its host, its blood is literally acid that can melt through a spaceship, and that biomechanical look lets it disappear into the shadows. It's what they called it in the movie, a perfect organism. Its structural perfection is matched only by its hostility.
Now, let's put that up against the Predator. This shows us a totally different kind of hunter. The xenomorph is driven by pure raw instinct, right? Just survival. But the Predator? It hunts for sport. It has a code of honor. It's not just killing whatever's in front of it, it's looking for a worthy opponent. It's really the difference between a wild animal and a master warrior.
And then for our last hunter, you've got the Death Angels. These things are scary for a completely different reason. It's not about what they see, it's about what they hear. They're completely blind, but their hearing is so off-the-charts sensitive that they turn the entire planet into one giant sound trap. You snap a twig, you're dead.
But here's the beautiful irony. That one incredible strength, that amazing weapon they have, it's also their single biggest weakness. It's a classic setup, right? The very thing that makes them so dominant is also the key to their downfall.
And yep, as the Abbott family figured out, a specific high-frequency noise, like the feedback from a hearing aid, completely overloads them. It just breaks their brains. And when that happens, their impenetrable armor plating flies open. And for just a second, you can get a shot at the only vulnerable part of their body.
Okay, time to shift gears. We're moving away from the hunters outside to something way more insidious. This is part two, the enemy within. We're talking about the invaders who don't just kill us, they become us. They attack our very identity and make us turn on each other.
This quote absolutely nails it. It perfectly captures the pure paranoia at the heart of our next creature, the shape-shifting nightmare from John Carpenter's masterpiece, The Thing. With this thing, the horror isn't the chase, it's the suspicion. It's looking at your friend and not knowing what's behind their eyes.
So here's the truly terrifying biological trick of The Thing. It's not just that it can look and act exactly like you. It's that every single one of its cells is a complete, independent organism. A tiny drop of its blood can scuttle away and try to survive on its own. That means the only way to be sure it's dead is to burn every last piece.
And this is what makes it such an incredible horror concept. The creature doesn't actually have to do much killing itself. Once it's inside a group, it can just sit back and wait. It lets paranoia do all the dirty work. Human nature just takes over and tears the group apart.
In a similar way, you've got Syl from Species, who hides her threat right out in the open. She's a human-alien hybrid, and she uses her human side to manipulate and seduce, all driven by this overwhelming biological need to reproduce. But underneath that surface, she's another H.R. Giger special, a biomechanical weapon.
The Harvesters from Dark Skies, well, they weaponize your own home against you. They don't have to break down the door, because they're already inside. They mess with your head, moving pictures around, causing you to lose hours of time, leaving these weird marks that show up in old family photos. It's pure psychological warfare.
Now let's talk about the Greys from Signs. At first, they feel like your classic, sneaky invaders, right? They're making crop circles, peeking around corners. They've even got this paralytic toxin. They're creepy. But their big Achilles heel is something so unbelievably common, it's almost poetic. That's it. Water. Just plain old water. When it touches their skin, it burns them like acid. And it's this incredibly simple weakness that transforms the movie from just an invasion story into something about faith, turning the most common substance on our planet into our single greatest defense.
So, we've covered the hunters and the infiltrators. But that brings us to our last and maybe our most unsettling category of fear. What happens when the alien isn't a monster you can shoot or a shapeshifter you can expose? What if it's just an incomprehensible force of nature?
And that brings us to part 3, the cosmic horrors. These things, they don't play by our rules. They defy our entire understanding of what life even is. They don't have motivations we can understand. They just exist. And in doing so, they warp our reality and fill us with this deep existential dread. Take the Blob. I know it sounds a little silly, but the real horror of it is its mind-boggling simplicity. It has no thoughts, no organs, no plan. It has one single purpose: to consume. It dissolves living flesh on contact and just gets bigger and bigger. And its only weakness, extreme cold, doesn't even kill it. It just puts it to sleep.
The Shimmer from Annihilation is even more abstract. It's not a creature, it's a place, a phenomenon. It acts like a prism, but for biology. It takes the DNA of everything inside it and just refracts it, rewrites it, merges it together. It's not trying to conquer us, it's just changing everything into something new.
And then, from color out of space, you have an alien that's literally just a color. Not even a color our eyes can properly see. It crashes to Earth, and it doesn't kill things, it contaminates them. It's like a parasite that feeds on life itself, draining everything and leaving behind this dead, gray, twisted version of reality.
So, when you pull back and look at it all, you see that alien horror isn't just one thing. It's hitting us on these different, really fundamental levels. You've got that primal physical fear of the hunt. You've got the psychological fear of not knowing who to trust. And then you've got that deep, soul-shaking existential dread of facing something that you literally cannot comprehend.
And that's really the big takeaway here. A monster with claws is terrifying, for sure. But what sticks with you longer? The monster you can at least try to fight, or the idea that you can't even begin to understand? Maybe the scariest monsters aren't really monsters at all. Maybe they're the ones that just completely shatter our understanding of how the universe is supposed to work.